Hey, it's Tim, Pickup Truck Plus SUV Talk, and Ford is unveiling the Lightning. Yeah, taking a name from the past, they're going to call their new electric truck the F-150 Lightning. Now, there's a lot of presentations. I just went through 6 pages, press releases, notes, everything. Lots of Advil was consumed. I'm going to tell you what, Ford did not mess this up. I can't find a whole lot of faults, but I'm going to tell you what you need to know in this video. Go over some key details, things that are standing out to me, Mr. Practical kind of guy who's not a huge fan of EVs. I'm more of a fan of this. I will tell you this. This is going to change my mind a little bit. So let's go ahead and get in these details. Let me give you the kind of the quick hitters, the fast facts. So first of all, it's going to be crew cab, 500-foot bed. That's going to be the standard truck, and that's the most popular configuration anyways. So I'm sure they're going to expand out from there, but this is the initial offering. You're going to have 2 versions. They have a standard range and extended range. 230 miles for the standard range, 300 miles extended range. You're going to have 2,000 pounds of payload, that's the top number, 10,000 pounds of towing. I'm going to do a separate video about how far I estimate this truck will tow. I'll link to that above when I get that done. But anyways, getting back to the truck, the pricing is going to be between $40,000 to $90,000. Which is kind of typical. That's a range that Ford has right now on the F-150. So nothing too surprising there, although $90,000 is a lot more than the limited trim of the F-150, which is like in the 70s. So top trims, more expensive, but there's reason for that. We have lots of features. But Ford says that a mid-series XLT model, which is interesting calling that mid-series, used to be before that. Anyways, will start about $52,975 before federal and tax credits. So if you get that truck starting at that price, which you probably won't get it right away, but if you do get around 50 and you take about 7,000 off, I mean, you're looking at mid-40s for a starting electric truck. Not bad, not bad. At least it's not like 120,000 like that GMC Hummer. The target audience, and this is where I think it's really crucial, and hopefully you're getting this from me, and hopefully other people are saying the same thing, because I think this is really important, is Ford says the target audience is younger, more affluent, higher income, and they're urban. So they have the opportunity to charge at home because they have a garage. They're younger, so they're more open to technology. Typically, I'm not getting mad at my older folks here, but they're more open to technology, more open to using systems like this, and they have a higher income because you're going to have to spend a little bit more money buying this truck, getting installed, the different chargers, get it all set up to get this going. Once you do have it going, then you do have the charging at home. And Ford is teaming up with a company to allow for solar charging, which I'll get to in a minute. Sorry, I wrote this long story and I'm kind of going through the details because I don't want to miss anything. The thing that's going to distinguish the F-150 EV Lightning, or the F-150 Lightning, is going to be the front end. There'll be an LED lighting signature that goes around the front end, which you'll see that on the screen. 3 new grille designs, and so it's basically going to stand out. Underneath the truck, the steel frame has been reinforced to handle the battery pack, so it's a heavier steel than they've used in the past, or heavier, I'd say thicker steel than they've used in the past, just because of the additional weight of the battery pack. Now, let's get to the details. We talked about range, 230 EPA, 300 extended range. We have the towing at 10,000 pounds, payload at 2,000 pounds. The battery is lithium-ion battery, but Ford says they've worked on trying to reduce the cobalt usage in that battery, trying to get rid of the strip mining aspect of EVs and get rid of that kind of pollution aspect of it. There's going to be it's in a waterproof casing surrounded by rugged underbody protection. It's going to have skid plates as well as crash absorption materials in that case. They said they tested the battery extensively. They went up climbs, they did all stuff off-roading, tried to bang it quite a bit, and they actually used it in even minus 40-degree temperatures to figure out if it's going to perform well. They have what they call the state-of-the-art advanced cooling and heating, so it keeps that battery at the optimal range. Usually battery range is between I think it's between 60 to 80 degrees or 70 to 90 degrees. 70 to 90 degrees. In that range, the battery operates optimally, and so that's what they've done. They've made an advanced cooling, which is the same thing Jeep's done with the Wrangler W or 4xe and other vehicles have done. It's all about cooling that battery, making sure it performs well. Charging can be done on a standard range of DC fast charger, 220 volt and 110 volt. I'm going to put a chart on the screen that's going to talk to you about 2 different ways to charge and how fast they're charging. Basically, the key here is a lot of times with charging, we talk about 15% to 100% or 0 to 100%, meaning you use the truck up all day long and then you charge overnight at your house. That's what we're trying to do, is peak over time charging. I get it, understand it. But a lot of people, if you forget to charge, the power goes out, something kind of weird happens, then you can charge quickly. 15 to 80% on a DC fast charge is about 41 minutes for the extended range. I think that's pretty good. You know, you pull over, your battery's kind of low, you charge up for 40 minutes or so, and you're based 80%. So I think it's pretty good. The really cool part with this is that you can do a in-house charging as well. So this is talked about a little bit. I have bought that power boost for this channel, and when the power went out, I could have actually plugged into my dryer outlet and reverse powered the house. I could have fed the power back in the house and powered the house that way. A little sketchy, but Ford is going all in on this. They have a system built in with their new 80 amp hookup in the house, the 80 amp power charge station and management system. When they work with Suncor to develop put the solar panels on, they use this system as well. The truck can actually sense power outage in the house and will reverse power the house. And then when power comes on, it automatically and seamlessly turns power off from the truck. So you're not going to blow your appliances apart by having too much of a power surge. It's a pretty cool idea. I'm a little cautious of that idea, but pretty cool idea. And I'll be curious to see how homeowners policies deal with that. And I'll be curious to see how it actually works, because that makes me a little nervous whenever you have a time where the house is being charged by a truck through reverse feeding power into the house. Kind of interesting. They did say that the Ford F-150 Lightning with the extended range can actually power a standard 30 kilowatt house for up to 3 days on full power. 10 days with, like, if you energy rationing, that's what I'm looking for right there. If you have a full battery pack, power goes out, and the extended range model, you can have 3 days of charging at your house. Hello, Texas. You can do that full 3 days of charging from the truck, which makes it really interesting for, like, I watched a lot of these Alaska shows for remote building and stuff. You could drive your truck to a remote building site, use it for a couple days building the house, drive back, charge it up, and then go back and forth. It's just an interesting idea, just a really interesting idea. There's a new 9.6 kilowatt power on board system. So what's interesting with this is they're taking the 7.2 kilowatt in the back. Then they have this new, I'm going to get to in a minute, called a Mega Frunk Power Frunk or something like that. 2.4 kilowatt in the front of the truck too. So they're going to combine it all together, all the outlets. That's 9.6 kilowatts of total power output from the truck. Now you won't always use that. That's only if you're going to power your house. The 9.6 kilowatt, or 7.2 in the back and 2.4 in the front, is standard on Lariat and Platinum, and it's going to be 2.4 kilowatt is going to be standard on the base models. So 2.4 in the back and 2.4 in the front, which I'll get that a little more. Performance, 0 to 60 in the mid 4 seconds. So stupid fast, as you'd expect from EV truck. I have this really fast in the power boost. I never do 0 to 60 in my truck because I always have stuff in my bed and always stuff in my cabin. But if you want to drive fast, 0 to 60 in mid 4 seconds. It does make me wonder about drag racing, if that's going to go away, because if electric trucks all drive mid 4 seconds, kind of what's the point? It's targeted to have 563 horsepower, 775 foot-pounds of torque. And again, we talked about 2,000 pounds payload with 18-inch wheels. The 10,000 pounds of max towing is with the maximum tow trailer package and the extended range model. Now Ford is saying because the battery pack is below the cabin, that has a better lower center of gravity, and so on slick conditions when towing and in different conditions, you'll have a better grip and better towing confidence on those kind of situations. I shouldn't say grip, but you'll be towing more confidently because of the lower center of gravity. There's also a change as well. They have dual inboard electric motors. That way they keep them away from the wheels. That way they protect them even more off-roading situations like that. And that's with an independent rear suspension. Yep, independent rear suspension for the F-150 Lightning. This will allow it to ride a little better and ride a little smoother. And getting rid of that axle, they did that in Expedition. GM's done it in the Tahoe and Yukon. It just seems like the solid axle days maybe numbered a little bit here. So that's what we can do with that as far as the axle. Now, getting to the frunk. The frunk is like a huge thing. They spent a lot of time on this. This is interesting. So it is frankly pretty cool. And yes, they do call it the Mega Power Frunk. So if you don't like the word frunk, well, tough. It's in the marketing terms now. What it's going to be is they take the engine out, right, and they put a container storage bin in there. It's big enough for suitcases, multiple sets of golf clubs, bags and such. You have power. You have two USBs, two 110 plugs. You can do 2.4 kilowatt style plugs. Excuse me, I shouldn't say 110. I think they're all 110s. I didn't say specifically. It's easy to spray out and clean. They put a drain in the bottom of it, so you could literally throw like beer and stuff in there, plug in your cell phone, and have it right there and power like a speaker right from the front of your truck. Personally, I can't wait to go golfing with this thing and open up my front of my truck and pull my golf clubs up and freak out all the old guys at the course. Yeah, that's going to be fun. Anyways, it's an ideal for a beach trip, camping, or tailgating. I mean, you can store your power there, and then, like I said, in power outage, you get the full. You can tap in the whole truck and get the full power outage of 9.6 kilowatts in the higher trim with that higher output. But I thought it was pretty cool. I think they did a good job on that. I really, to be able to spray it out, pull the drain plug, drain it out. I mean, that's a pretty cool idea. Now, inside the cabin, we have much more technology. There is the huge Tesla screen, 15.5-inch portrait screen. That's going to be there, the new 12-inch digital screen behind the driver. The 15.5-inch screen is really cool in that it's got the software and the higher trim levels. Lariat and Platinum get the Sync 4 system, which is adaptive to the driver a little bit. But what's really cool with this system, and I want to talk about it more in my towing video, is that you can access the screens like you do in a Tesla and plan out your charging station stops. You can plan out, your trips and tells you how far you got to drive the next charge. It's really easy to use. They've done some Mustang Mach-E as well that Jill drove in Chicago when she went north in winter driving. The other cool part is they really talked about towing, and I'll get to this in my towing video, but they said, look, people want to know about towing with an EV. The problem is towing with an EV truck is so many variables. So you have payload in the cabin, you have the towing in the back of as far as how much you're towing. Guys who tow a lot know this stuff. But anyways, you have weather, you have the road conditions, you have how fast you're driving. Those all factor in to how much range you have. And so it's really hard to state this truck's going to tow this much towing because there's so many factors involved. What they've done, though, is they've created some software that will take into account the truck's payload. They're going to use that the payload onboard scales like they introduced a couple weeks ago. They can use that for the payload for the truck. You can type in how much the towing is. They'll vary in the weather. It'll vary in some of your speed and the conditions to give you a real world range while you're towing, so you can kind of plan out how things are going. So they're going to have the software to be able to do that. They're looking for more variables coming. They're talking about temp, like humidity. They're talking about wind. Lots of stuff they're trying to add into the software to make it even better, to allow you to have a real confident sense of how far you can go before you start. You can probably get in the cabin, set up your trip, start typing in stuff, and you can start playing around with how far this truck will go. Camping sites, which I'll talk more about in another video. Also helping with towing, there's a new feature. This is pretty damn cool. It's a trailer hitch assist. So basically, you know how they do the backup trailer assist, and we've done things like that. Well, what they're doing now is they've used that same kind of system, and they're going to allow you to get underneath a ball easily. So you basically, the system detects the hitch of the trailer and your ball on your hitch, and it'll help back up and control the speeds, so you get that just perfectly right on top the first time every time. So you can really impress your family members. You can impress your friends. You can say, hey, look, I can hook up my trailer, no problem. Yeah, pretty cool thing. I don't know about you, but certain trailers I really have to do a few times. Or you get up front and you have to nudge it with your leg to get to on the ball just right. So I think that's pretty cool. And I agree, more sensors, more technology, but this is the way the world's going. Lastly, they have the select trucks available with phone as a key, which works exactly as you think it's going to work, right? Phone in your pocket, you walk up the truck unlocks. Hop in the truck, drive. So that's how that systems work. You can use it right now in Ford Pass app to lock and unlock your doors. But this, you just keep your phone in your pocket, your purse, whatever. Walk up to the truck, hop in, hit the start button, and you're ready to go. Again, just a little bit more convenient. So moving on to other features. Now they're going to have carryover technology as well. We've seen this in other trucks. If you haven't seen it before, they have the fold flat work surface. So use that so you can take the center console, flip it over, and have a flat work surface for like your laptop and things. You're going to have the max recline seats. These are in the higher trim levels. The seat fully reclines, plus the back of the seat comes up. And if you have to raise the rear seats, I didn't do that in one video. You have to raise the rear seats. Whole thing lays flat, so you can basically sleep in your truck. You have the same onboard generator. It's going to get Ford's Blue Cruise, which is their semi-autonomous driving. So on select highways and things coming later this fall, the truck will actually drive itself. You can just sit there with your arms crossed and just kind of keep an eye on stuff. It does read your facial recognition, but it does work with sunglasses on. So you just sit there and watch the truck drive. Kind of eerie. You also get over-the-air updates, and as well as wireless Apple CarPlay, Android Auto, and the Amazon one as well. That's available in Lariat and Platinum trims. So that is basically everything I have for you on the F-150 Lightning. I think, again, my kind of bottom line is I think they did a really good job on this. I think they kind of addressed all the features, all the needs they could. They did what they could. They got the price point down, so it's actually reasonable. It's still a pricey proposition, right? So when you buy this truck, you have to invest in the charging at the house because public charging, while it does work, it's kind of hit or miss. I would always charge at home. I see this as an in-town kind of truck with an occasional small towing, or I wouldn't do a full towing road trip kind of stuff unless you have the time and energy to really plan all your stuff. So I think they did a good job on this. I think they're going to sell this. I think this is one of the future options. I think this would be ICEs, combustion engines plus EVs going to be competing for a while. EVs will still be kind of low, but eventually this is what's going to take over as batteries get lighter. This is going to be a heavy truck. As battery range gets longer, as charging times gets better, I could see this. This is going to be the future. That's what we've been talking about on this channel for a long time, is that batteries are the future at some point. I just don't know when that point is. So, but anyways, look for it spring of next year. You can reserve it for $100 on Ford. I'll put a link down below, or you'll see it online. You go to Ford.com and you'll be able to reserve your F-150 Lightning. Get it the way you want to. Put your reserve information down there. So that's really cool information. That's what I got for you tonight. And so, hey, check this video out over here. Website down below. As always, thanks for watching. I'll see you down the road.